Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do a little video here. This is obviously a common problem in Math 35 or in pre-calculus. The call of the question is to find an equation of the line that satisfies certain given conditions. Okay, so what are the conditions? Number one, it goes through a certain point. So it goes through the point of x equals 1/2, y equals -2/5, and we want it to be perpendicular to the line 6x minus 12y equals 1. Okay, so what do we do here? Let me have a little discussion. We recall that the generic formula for a line is this y equals mx plus b. Now remember how that goes? What m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. So I did this problem, and then I went to desmos.com, D-E-S-M-O-S, desmos.com to do a little graph, and I recommend that website. So here's the two lines I came up with. This is the first one, that's the given one, and this is the solution, which we'll see in just a minute. But look what we get here. We get a nice graph. So y equals, or I'm sorry, 6x minus 12y equals 1. That's going to be our given, that's our given line. Here's the graph. Now, when you do it on your screen, it's colored, so it's a little bit easier to see. But here's the original formula. I just rearrange the terms and I come up with y equals 1/2 x, take away 12. So y equals 1/2 x, so the slope is 1/2 x, and the y-intercept is -1/12. So do you see how that is? It's right down here. It's just a little tiny bit below y equals 0. So what we'll see here in a little bit is that I did this just to kind of convince myself that I did it correctly. All right, so let's go back up here. Okay, so those are the two conditions. In order to do this problem, I'm going to put everything in the normal format, the standard format. So the standard format, y equals mx plus b, m is the slope. Remember what slope is. Slope is defined as the rise over the run, otherwise known as the delta y over the delta x. That's the change in y over the change in x. We also recall that two lines are perpendicular if their slopes are negative reciprocals of each other. So do you remember what a negative reciprocal is? 3 is the negative reciprocal of -1/3, because when you multiply 3 times -1/3, you get -1. That's what we mean by the negative reciprocal. If we just said reciprocal, the reciprocal of 3 is 1/3, because 3 times 1/3 is 1. Okay, so negative reciprocal, you got to get -1, not just 1. Okay, so here's our given line, blah, blah, blah. We write in the standard form of y equals mx plus b. Well, all we do is rearrange the terms. So just play with the terms. Beat on it. Just do whatever you got to do. Add, subtract, multiply, divide. Do whatever you got to do. Okay? Take a look at that. And what do you get? You get this. Y is equal to 1/2 x, take away 1/12. That is the standard format. Now, to be really, really precise, I would write this as 1/2 x plus -1/12, because the standard form is mx plus b. Okay, so 1/2 x plus a -1/12. Here's my b, here's my m. So mx plus -1/12. Okay, so that's the standard form. The slope of this line is what? Here it is, 1/2. So the slope is positive 1/2. Okay? The slope of a perpendicular line, if I want a perpendicular line to this guy here, I've got to have a slope of -2. -2 is the negative reciprocal of positive 1/2. Why? Because -2 times 1/2 is -1. So that's why it's the reciprocal, the negative reciprocal. So now we're looking for a line with a slope of -2 that goes through the given point. Well, what's the given point? The given point is x equals 1/2 and y equals -2/5. Okay, now remember this formula, this y equals mx plus b, that's true for all points on the line that we are looking for. That's all points, all points. So it's true for these points, x equals 1/2, y equals negative 2/5. It's got to be true for that. So let's just plug it in. Plug in the x equals 1/2, y equals negative 2/5. Plug that in here. Now, once we do that, you're going to see we have nothing that's unknown except for b. Okay, so we plug that in and we're going to solve for b. So crank it out, rearrange terms, and what do you get? You get b is equal to 3/5. So our final solution is y is equal to negative 2, that's the slope we already found out, negative 2 times x, plus the b, which is 3/5. And as I said before, here's the graph. Sure looks perpendicular to me. Okay, and here's the second page of the Desmos. So I recommend Desmos. It's a very fine program. It's very, very easy to use. So take my advice and use Desmos. It's a free program. Desmos, D-E-S-M-O-S, desmos.com. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope it helped.